So today we'll be presenting the zero wait customer experience, why it matters, and how to actually deliver it. So in terms of the agenda, we'll have a market overview from Abhishek, followed by a live demo, as well as a quick portal walkthrough from Sonam, who will show you how to build a voice AI agent. And so you can also build your own voice AI agent after this webinar. And then finally, we'll get into why Telnyx. So I'll discuss some of the competitive advantages of choosing Telnyx over other voice AI platforms. And then we'll wrap up with a Q&A to address any pressing questions I'm sure that you may have. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Abhishek, who will give the market overview about what's going on with voice AI agents today, specific to customer support.
All right, next slide, please. Yeah. So before we get started with that, let's just look at where exactly do customers spend a lot of their time right now. A lot of current bottlenecks that a lot of customers end up wasting their time in is an IVR queue. You might have a human agent right there trying to help the customers out, but they still get stuck in IVR queues. They get stuck in repeating information across different human agents. They get a lot of the time spent in looking up information from the knowledge base or their internal databases. And a lot of times, a customer goes through multiple transfers to actually get their issue resolved. And lastly, when it's a peak hour, that's also a place where a lot of customers end up spending a lot of their time. For example, the holiday season right now. And why this matters is when you have a real-time autonomous customer support agent or a system in place, then a lot of these repeatable or scalable bottlenecks can be eliminated. Now let's just look at where exactly did the market progress to in terms of using AI for our customer support. Let me go to the next slide. So the AI automation part of customer support started back in 2022 when ChatGPT first rolled out. So back then, what we had was a little bit more sophisticated version of voice contact center automation where we had IVR and rule-based routing. And then we progressed a little bit better as models got better and the context size got better with AI assisted support where your agent could answer questions and also some basic FAQs. But then that was still very reactive and not very proactive, and it was not very task focused. And things started to change with the launch of GPT 4.0 back in 2024. And that's where we got our first cascaded voice AI pipeline, where we had low latency, where we had transcribers, we had LLM that was dependable, we had a good human sounding TTS, and we also had decent tool calling, which would do certain tasks like booking calendar or booking appointments. And the way we are right now, where we are right now in 2025 and where the market is headed is a zero wait customer experience. So now the models have gotten more sophisticated. The TTS models have gotten to sound more human. And the latency or the error rate for transcriber has also decreased quite a lot. So this makes it more possible for us to create a system where every customer spends less than 1 second waiting for agent or an AI agent to jump on the call and resolve the issue. And this is happening because right now, can we go to the next slide? Yeah, and the reason why this is very important right now is if you look at the macroeconomic situation right now. So the contact center AI market right now is around $2 billion, and by the end of 2030, it is projected to reach around 10 billion. That's 20% increase from where it is right now. And if you just look at the voice AI market, the enterprise voice AI market in general as well, and collectively, it's also been growing to around $120 billion by 2030, and that's a massive growth. But but for the contact center to grow that by 20% CAGR, we need to hire a lot of human agents, and that is not humanly possible. And we don't have a lot of talent that can do it, and it's also very expensive. And that's the reason why voice AI is a good substitute to meet up with the demands of increase in need of contact centers and the need of support. And that is why Telnyx is also positioned to do really well in this. Let's move on to the next slide. Now before we talk about all the other details, let's just ask ourselves what exactly is a zero wait customer experience. So zero wait customer experience is exactly what it sounds like, where the moment a customer calls, they simply talk to a voice agent that can help them resolve their issue. They're not going through any IVRs, any queues, or they're not put through any hold time. This makes the whole experience a little bit more polished and a little bit more easy on the customers. And operationally, the couple of metrics that you should be looking at to understand where exactly does zero wait customer experience matter is you should look at something like time to first response, high percentage of calls answered, that is resolution rate, and what percentage of calls didn't get transferred, and what is your resolution rate like when you compare it with a human agent. Let's move on to the next slide. And yeah, as I said, so operationally, there are a lot of metrics that there are a couple of metrics you should look at on top of your mind. First is time to first response. What is the percentage of calls answered under key threshold? How many calls are put on hold? The lower it is, the higher correlation of the customers being satisfied with you. And lastly, and lastly, this matters a lot because we have seen throughout the history that the lower the wait time a customer has, the higher is the correlation of profitability for every organization. Now, let's just look at next slide. Let's just look at what an example of a zero wait customer experience look like for a car dealership. So what happens is a caller calls a number and immediately a voice agent picks it up and ask the user or the caller what is the reason for them to call. And if the user says they are looking to book an appointment or wanted to check the inventory of what car is available at the car dealership, if a car of certain color is available, or all these specific deterministic questions, then the agent looks into the knowledge base and immediately does the needful action. And if during the conversation, if there's any interaction or any query that is beyond the scope of the agent, it transfers the call to a live human agent while giving the human agent enough context for them to respond and without the caller wanting to repeat the same information again. And this is an example of zero wait customer experience. And now we will be looking at what does it look like in production, where Sonam would be walking us through a live demo of how do you build it and what it looks like. Over to you, Sonam.
Thank you, Abhishek. All right, let me share my screen, share sound. Okay, wow, too many things. Okay, when you sign up, you basically land on this portal, which we call Mission Control Portal. You go to AI Storage Compute, go to AI Assistants, and since I already have an agent built for this particular demo, you will see it in the list. Otherwise, you can go from here, create new assistant. You can, if this is your first time building an agent, you can select any of these templates, or you can start with your blank with the basic configuration and you can build upon it. So yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I think your screen is not shared.
Oh, let me try again. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, great. Thank you.
Okay. So provided you didn't understand, like you couldn't see what I was showing. But once you sign up, you land on this portal. This is what it looks like when you first sign up. And then we go to AI storage, go to AI assistants. And this is, if you click on create new assistant, you see that there are many different templates that are already pre-built, pre-configured. So if this is your first time, you can start with any of these, or you can start with your default assistant. Now, for the sake of time, I already have an agent here, which is the car dealership inventory assistant. If I click on this pencil, which is the edit, it will show you what the configuration for this agent looks like. You give it a name here. You can choose any of these LLMs for your agent. In this case, we highly recommend using Quen. It gives the best performance. Plus, as you can see, the latency wise, it's like sub 900 milliseconds. An estimated cost for the agent plus telephony fees is also shown here. In the instructions, this is where you give a very detailed prompt. Be as detailed as possible, be precise, give any guardrails you may have to any other instructions that your agent need. You give it right here. It's free text and you can include all the details you want. Then this is a simple greeting message, which you will hear when I call test the assistant. The agent will basically say exactly what you have in this greeting message. And because this is a car dealership and this agent will basically talk to me and answer my questions around what kind of car is it am I looking for, and if I have any financing options that I want to know about, it will basically then transfer me to those specialists using the transfer tool. And if you click on add tool, you can add any webhook tool if you want, which you can use to connect any of your system, for example, any CRM systems you have, or you want to put it on your website, or you want to put like connect your front end. So you can use the webhook tool for that. Scrolling down here, as you see, this is knowledge bases. This is where I have added additional context that would be used for by this agent. And in this knowledge base, you can add whatever database. If you're building a very niche agent and you want that agent to have some context based on your data, you can store it on Telnyx infrastructure. And we are cloud agnostic as well. Moving on to the voice tab. This is where you can choose from any of the providers. We have several different ones, and natural HD voice is the one that we recommend. For transcription model, you have again many different several different choices. For example, for multilingual, we recommend DeepGram Nova 3. For English, we recommend DeepGram Flux. And this platform is multilingual, so you can choose in different languages that you want. And this is more configuration that you can do for how your agent is going to sound. All right. And one more thing before I test the agent. When you go on the integrations tab, you will see that we have many options of adding different kinds of tools. For example, GitHub, you have Jira, HubSpot, Greenhouse, etc. And you can also add any MCP server to your agent. All right, let's test the assistant.
Hello, welcome to our dealership. I can help you find information about our vehicles and schedule a viewing. What car are you looking for today?
I am looking for a Toyota Prius from 2017.
Let me check. Okay, we have a 2017 Toyota Prius available. It's silver, has around 68,000 miles, and is priced at $1,500. It also comes with a backup camera and good fuel efficiency. Would you like to schedule a time to see it?
Before that, could you share some financing options?
Sure thing. Let me connect you with our finance department. They'll walk you through all the options. One moment.
Okay.
Specialist who can better assist you. The caller was inquiring about financing. Please tell them that they're
Yeah,
Put them through.
Hey,
Hi,
This is Abhishek. How can I help you?
I was just looking for some financing options.
All right,
All right,
let me
let me help you out.
Okay, so that's how the transfer happened. So what happened is that when I asked for financing options, the agent took that in, connected to the financing specialist, who in this case I had added Abhishek's number. So the agent called Abhishek's phone number, and that's how we got connected. So yeah, this is how it's so simple to build any agent with transfer capabilities. Now that we tested the agent, and if you want to see, okay, how did the conversation go, you can check it out by going on the analysis tab and clicking on the most recent conversation. In this case, this was the one that we just demoed, and you can see that, okay, this was the agent talking, this was the user talking. It shows how much what the latency was for speech models and LLMs. And also it shows that, okay, the transfer tool was called. As you may have heard, that the agent basically gave a brief summary of what the agent and I spoke. And then if I collapse this, the tool response, transfer completed, and you heard the rest of it. That's it. That's how simple it is to build an agent. Back to you, Ezra.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, thank you for that great presentation, Sonam. So now that she showed you how voice AI agents work through Telnyx's Mission Control Portal, I'll overview why Telnyx. After all, there are many other companies in this space, but I'll outline why it's important to go with us. So let me maximize my screen. Give me 1 second. First point is that we're end-to-end provider. A lot of other competitors have bits and pieces of our entire stack, which results in operational complexity. It introduces latency, whereas with us, we have everything you would need, beginning with the telephony. So that's numbers and call control. We have the telephony apps, which includes the text-to-speech and speech-to-text, the AI pipeline, so various proprietary and tokenized models that you can choose from, and finally, the cloud storage. And because we offer everything end-to-end, you can focus on creating different customer service use cases such as these, automating customer support, collections and payments, or even payment reminders, AI-powered appointment booking, and even on the sales side, qualifying inbound leads. So we have over 17 global points of presence across the world, which is really important for the purposes of latency. So no matter where your company is from and where your users are based, you'll always have a point of presence near you. And to go deeper into that, having a point of presence allows us to co-locate our GPUs with our telephony, so we can seamlessly orchestrate the AI, the voice, and the telephony all in region, which is beneficial from a compliance perspective if you live in a region with data residency requirements, but also from a user perspective. As you can see here on the right side, round trip time is under 200 milliseconds. So it follows the natural back and forth speech as you would with speaking to a human agent. Doesn't have that unnatural long pauses that have characterized maybe IVR platforms of the past. So it's a very natural way to interact with the brand. We also have HD voice. And so this is quite important in the context of customer service, because for customer service, you may be dealing with a lot of sensitive information. For example, if I'm authenticating my identity with a bank, I may have a PIN number, a passcode. They may ask for sensitive details like my birth date and so forth. And because we have HD, it minimizes the error rate so it can accurately capture my authentication details and move me faster down the customer support funnel. So HD voice is not just a nice to have, but it's really materially important for customer support or zero wait customer support. We also offer 76 different languages. So everything from popular languages like Spanish and French to even obscure languages like Nepali and Zulu. So pretty much a vast majority of the world's languages are covered by our voice AI agents, which is important because instead of having to hire all these people who can speak these many languages, you have this instantly. So you could have customers literally from all over the world supported just by our voice AI agents and speak to them in the language that most resonates with them, which multiple studies have shown makes customers much more receptive to your products, to your services, to your brand. So this is an example of how an account inquiry would be done. So that's another powerful use case of voice AI agents is people calling into a voice AI agent and getting information much faster than they would by speaking to a human agent or navigating an IVR system or even going online and trying to find the information through a self-service portal. So very important use case for voice AI customer support. These are other areas of the zero wait customer support where you can build use cases around. So instant answers to common inquiries. So basically an information clearinghouse information. This can be general, people calling in for official company hours, or it could be a person inquiring to find out what upgrades they may be eligible for, as well as automated ticket creation. So this connects to various backend systems that we'll go into in a second. Real-time updates and notifications. So customers won't have to follow up with status updates. They can receive inbound calls from the company updating them on the status of their application, their upgrade, or their service request, and so forth. And even caller authentication and follow-up. So quite a breadth of customer service use cases you could deploy for your business. We offer many different integrations. This is kind of important because in the AI landscape, you see a lot of powerful AI tools, but they often operate as a walled garden, so they don't connect with other systems and platforms. Whereas with Telnyx, we integrate with some of the most popular applications on the market today, and many of these have direct relevance to customer service. So things like HubSpot or Zendesk. And by connecting to them, it allows your users not only to obtain information through your voice AI agents, but actually create or complete various high value actions through your voice AI agent. And so there's also compliance aspect. Of course, with any enterprise, compliance is important. There's privacy laws like GDPR, CCPA, CPRA in effect that applies to how customer data is handled. And we address those by keeping all customer calls protected with region. We mentioned the 17 POPs earlier. We ensure voice and AI processing stays within these approved regions. And we also meet various telecom and privacy requirements while maintaining a consistent service quality. So basically, you can focus on your customer service use case rather than focusing on addressing the nuts and bolts of compliance. So to recap, Telnyx should really be your choice for the zero wait customer experience for these reasons. Number one is the carrier grade telephony. We provide the numbers. We have the private global network consisting of 17 different POP. And because of that, we can co-locate the compute with our telephony for a very fantastic user experience. And we have numerous compliance controls designed to meet national or regional regulations. And we are enterprise ready by design. So Sonam showed you how quickly it is to create a voice AI agent. And from there, you could quickly create and productize voice AI agent to meet the needs of your customers and scale that up as needed. So these are some further resources for you. It's very easy to set up your Telnyx account. We have credits available for you to test out your own voice AI agent. We have a knowledge center, and me, Abhishek, and Sonam, feel free to contact us at any time if you have any questions. We'd be happy to address any questions you have about the zero wait customer experience, about setting up a voice AI agent within the Mission Control Portal, or anything else about the space in general. Yeah, so finally, we'd like to get into Q&A. I'm sure you have many pressing questions that you'd like addressed, and we'd be happy to answer them. Feel free to just type them into the chat. Maybe we'll give it a few seconds for you to gather your thoughts. Okay, maybe while we're waiting for questions to come in, I'll have a question for Sonam. From the demo that you showed, it was very quick to set up an agent. How far can you take the agent you set up? How long would it take to use that agent to set up something that can actually be deployed to real customers?
Basically, yeah, it generally just takes that much time to create an agent on, especially if you use like the no-code portal. The only time-consuming part would be to setting up, making sure that all the, the customer policies are set in motion. We have taken care of all the guardrails that might be in the question or be in the picture. And basically just, I would say, writing the prompts, that is something that will probably take some time, because you have to go through certain iterations before it's production ready, making sure that all the edge cases are covered. So I think it shouldn't take too long if you have a good engineering team, and then basically lots of testing before you push, obviously. And then, yeah, it shouldn't be too difficult.
Fantastic. Yeah, we have another question from one of our attendees. I'll direct this to either Abhishek or Sonam. Do you support Google Live Voices?
I'm not familiar with Google Live Voices. Maybe if you could elaborate on that question. Or is it like the voices that you hear in
Gemini.
Google applications?
I'm
Say that
assuming they're
again.
asking about Gemini Live.
Oh, then the answer is no. The voices that we have are from 11 Labs. We have our own voices that are based on Rhymes models, Rhyme Labs models, and we have some other from Minimax and more voices that are getting added as we speak, and some from Azure as well.
So for the assistants, we do not have Google Live Voices, but then with media streaming for regular voice API, you could still use Google Voices. But yeah, if it's a demand that you have, we can definitely get it integrated into our AI assistants as well.
Great question. Any others from the audience? Maybe while waiting, I'll ask Abhishek a question as well. In terms of the zero-wait customer experience, how common are you actually seeing this in the industry where they're deploying this paradigm where customers don't have to wait to have their support addressed?
I see this query. I see a lot of companies use it, specifically publicly listed companies. To give you some example, the American Express. So they have an assistant called as Emilia, and Emilia processes around 1 billion conversations every quarter, and this has resulted in around 85% first touch resolution rate for American Express. So now even if you call American Express customer support, you would probably be speaking with Amelia initially, and only if your query is quite complicated will you be escalated to a human agent. And yeah, Amelia is quite. She does a good job, is what I could say. She does a good job in resolving the customer query. And if we were to talk about the certain industries where something like this is super critical, I would say travel, healthcare, and finance. These three industries would be the top three where we have been seeing a lot of option for zero-wait customer experiences.
Great. Last call for questions from the audience. If not, maybe get some final thoughts from you, Sonam, as well as Abhishek, and we'll bring this webinar to a close. Yeah. Abhishek, would you like to start with just final thoughts on the zero-wait customer experience?
Yeah. So what I would say is offering your prospects or your customers zero-wait experience is one of the lowest hanging fruits that you can do as a business to increase your top line revenue. Because throughout the history, we have seen a lot of research reports and economic reports done on the strong correlation between better customer support with revenue. And the way in which the market is headed right now, and the way in which the market is right now, offering something like a better customer support and faster resolution time and a higher customer satisfaction is low-hanging fruit for you to make a lot of money. And as a business, that's what everybody wants here.
Fantastic. And final thoughts from you, Sona, maybe about voice AI agents in general and building through the Mission Control Portal?
Yeah, I think voice AI agents is a hot space right now. And if you can build something up so quickly, less than like 5 minutes, at least a basic agent, I think it's very fast to spin something up and start pushing it to production. And latency is something that everybody cares for. And given that how good the natural voices that in our database or in our collection we have, the conversation basically sounds very natural as we saw earlier. So I think, yeah, because we host everything, we own our infrastructure and all of it is hosted on our infrastructure. That's what causes the latency to be so low. And pricing wise, it's absolutely cheap. And speed, latency, pricing, if you got everything all in one place, might as well build as many agents as you want and as fast as you can. So yeah, that's what I would suggest.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. We look forward to what you build with our voice AI agents platform within the Mission Control Portal. Again, feel free to reach out to me, Sonam or Abhishek, if you have any questions on your voice AI journey.